Welcome, guys. It's Shans here, and I'm here with the Gifted Gab today. So happy to be here. So glad to be here because we're going to talk about some real issues, some real things that are going on in our world today. So stay tuned.
Chips and seaweed together.
I hate chips.
That's crazy.
I hate potatoes.
Why?
I only like potatoes when they're fries or wedges.
What did potatoes do to you?
They don't. Why? Who decided to make them really thin and?
I don't know, but they slap. They slap.
No, they don't.
Shit. But anyways,
Hot Cheetos.
Yeah, hot Cheetos. You know. Anyways, you look good today.
Thanks.
Hair looking on fleek.
Preach.
Looking nice.
Thanks.
Hair looking laid, by the way.
Yeah, because you said it was big earlier.
Yeah, but that was off camera, so we're not gonna count that. Anyways, one thing that I actually want to talk about with you is hair. Hair. I know you're. Yeah, we all do. I'm pretty sure we all do. We all have our preferences, especially within our community as well too.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people have different opinions. You know what I'm saying? Some people say good hair is this and good hair is that, and bad hair is this and bad hair is that. But I don't know. What do you like for you? What is good hair and what is bad hair? Is that even a thing? Like, how do you feel about that?
First of all, good hair to me, and it should be universally, good hair just means hair that's healthy, right? I look at any hair, no matter the texture. Like, if you're healthy, you don't have split ends, your hair is bouncy, shiny, beautiful. But for the most part, like our community, especially the Black community, good hair is like more the looser texture. Like, there's like a whole hair type chart.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
So from 1A, which is like really straight hair and like, straight hair.
Yeah. Just,
and to like, I would say to like 3C, 3A hair, which is like a looser curl or what people call quote unquote coolie hair in our community. So that's what they consider good hair. So like my hair texture, I have very kinky, coily hair. So that would be considered bad hair.
I never understood why it was that the case. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's not colorism. It is colorism, but it's because also women, my complexion can also have like the 3C hair and the good hair.
Yeah.
But it's, what is it, texturism. And it just goes back to like slavery days. Like the house slave was usually a lighter skinned person or like a brown skinned girl with like maybe looser hair and more European standard features. They would be in the house. Meanwhile, the darker skinned, kinky, coily hair would be in the fields.
Yeah,
right?
working, yeah.
So that is where that whole entire bias towards hair stemmed from. Like just back in those days. So now we're in what? 2020. And a lot of women threw out like their perms. A lot of women are perming my hair. I haven't relaxed my hair in about 8 years. And a lot of women are appreciating their afros and natural hair and black girl beauty and black girl magic. And we see that the natural hair movement was started for like 4C girls, kinky girls, the ones that you don't see on the TV.
100%. That often had the least representation, or were called 100%. Like, oh, like I don't want that type of. You know what I mean? Like,
and they'll like do everything to manipulate our hair to make it look more curly, more acceptable. And so we started a natural hair movement. The kinkier girls started it, and it got hijacked by a lot of the 3C looser curl girls' hair. And not to say it's wrong for that. Like, yes, like I understand curly hair in general is considered like, oh, your hair is messy, your hair is unkept.
Not professional in a sense. Yeah,
exactly. Especially in white spaces, curly hair is like, no.
It's like
and so I understand them taking that back and being like, yeah, here's my beautiful curly hair. But understand, especially in our community, that is acceptable already. They see that, oh, my exotic queen with the beautiful hair. What are you mixed with? Like,
100%.
oh, you're so.
And the fact that there always has to be a what are you mixed with in a sense where you can't just. I find that happens all the time. Oh, it's crazy.
If they find like a black woman who's like attractive
or with a little bit straight hair, it's like.
Not even straight hair. They'll ask me like, oh, what are you mixed with?
No way.
Because they find me attractive.
Really?
And I'm like, I'm just black. Mixed with what? Blacker?
Something else.
More black? A little bit of sprinkle of more black? I don't know what you want me to tell you. Yeah. So I get that a lot. I know a lot of like other girls who have like the good hair. They get that a lot. They're like, there's no way you can look like that and not be mixed. Because being mixed is like they don't want to accept that blackness comes in all forms. 100%. And it's not just... it's okay to find black beautiful.
Exactly. It's diverse as well, too. People have this perception of black people looking just one certain way when we come in all shapes and sizes in different ways. But I find like with this classification that you were saying, I was doing a little bit of research. It was started by a guy named Andre Walker, Oprah Winfrey's hairstylist. He kind of had this classification system, but what you're saying with 4C, whatever, 1-8, that type of thing, right? But I find we are, I think, one of the only demographics that have this system. You know, you don't see white people saying, "Oh, what's your hair?" You know, or trying. You know what I mean? It's weird that you kind of base hair texture in that certain way, but in a sense, it almost discriminates against, like you say, kinkier people. I find like myself, I had like these like little, not cornrows. I had cornrows before, like maybe like last year or whatever. And this is the first time I ever had them. When I got them, I was looked at a certain way. I had people coming to me and having a certain perception of me in a certain way, and it was like, this is something that I encountered before, but not for my hair. And this was the first time ever some people were looking at me like, "Whoa, what the hell? Yeah, what do you? What the hell are you cutting that?" So eventually, like, I just wasn't comfortable with that. I ended up cutting it, like, and went back to what I was used to. But just with the hair textures and whatnot, and how society perceives it and how they accept it is crazy. You know, it's crazy.
If you had like a looser texture, maybe.
They would have been like, "Oh, come, 100%."
But also, there's like this. So this controversial opinion that this girl on Twitter said. I'm not saying I support it. I'm not saying
I gotta hear this. Let me hear this. I have to hear this.
And I feel like it applies like with your cornrows, right? So quarantine kind of showed how black men view their hair, because it was growing out. A lot of people's hair was growing out, and a lot of people with the kinky hair and the thing. Oh, I look homeless. I look this. I look rough down. I look pop dong. I look this. I'm like, why are you saying this about your hair? Like, is it because your hair texture? Like, oh, I look homeless. Why are we associating those things to natural black hair? And also with like the waves thing. Like, black men will like waves. 100%. And I think a lot of people don't take in where that stems from. Because light-skinned men are not here like with the 3A hair. They have natural waves.
Well, it's easy. It comes,
easy. Just do this, boom, waves. And I feel like we need to like look into why we want like black men with like 4C hair like mine. Waves. I need waves. You can't just have your natural coily hair.
You know what's weird? But I think society looks at it as more acceptable in a sense. When you have waves, it's like, oh, the appearance is more it's more pleasant. Exactly. You know what I mean? And when I had I don't know why that is, but it needs to get, talked about. It needs to get discussed. And it's crazy how I kind of felt that way too. I'll be honest. That's kind of why I was like, yo, I gotta cut my hair. Let me get down. Exactly. Yeah, let me get to the waves. Let me get my doobie, all that stuff. But it's madness. It's crazy. So yeah.
And like everyone, like black men attack you. Like, no, it's just aesthetic. I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
Why is it aesthetic? Just like your coils.
Yeah. Why can't that be looked at as nice?
Why can't that be nice?
Yeah.
What if your lineups? Go to a job interview with your natural like afro. You're not getting the job.
Hell no.
If you go without like a lineup and your hair is not like wave and clean cut, you're not gonna get the job.
Yeah.
So the same way that colorism or texturism, I say, affects black women, it affects black men as well. But because it's, like you said, you can just cut off your cornrows, and now you're acceptable again. With us, I can't just shave off my hair. Yeah. Because then my femininity gets.
It would be judged. It would be judged. But at the same time, I do know women that do that who give no fucks. They don't care at all, and I love it. I love to see that shit too. But at the same time, it's tougher for women. I agree with that, because a lot of your identity or a lot of like like you just said, your femininity comes from here at a point. So it's like, that's not really the option all the time. With a man, it's easier to cut his hair and go out and about, and because it's expected from society. Like,
they're like, oh, your hair's short. Yeah, cool, like, and then like, especially with black men, like black women, darker skinned black women, our femininity also gets like very. You'll like hear comments like with Serena Williams, for instance, how she looks like a man. Yeah, because it's the way she's built, and she has like very strong features, and she's a beautiful, beautiful woman, and they'll be like, oh, she looks like a man, and they do that solely with dark-skinned women.
It's crazy.
Solely with dark-skinned women, because if you dark-skin as more masculine, more
grungy,
light-skin as more feminine and more like, calm. And
you ever hear the phrase like, "Oh, why are you moving like a light skin?" or "Why are you acting like a dark skin?" I'm like, bro, what the hell are you talking about?
But you know what? That like
it's crazy, but people joke about it. But at the same time, like, I think, me personally, like, we have to stop joking about it. Why are you moving like Why are you moving like a light skin? It doesn't make sense.
What does that even mean?
You see like the poses with photos sometimes about guys, like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's stuff. They feminize. Yeah. It's like, why?
But it's the same thing. Like, you see how like colorism makes black women look more masculine, so we're not always desired because whatever. And it's the same kind of stereotype reversed for light-skinned men.
Mm-hmm.
So they look at light-skinned men as, oh, you're so feminine and you're like, you move too soft and you're not hard because you're light-skinned.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. And I joke about it too. I have made my jokes.
That makes both of us. That makes both of us.
It is.
It is what it is. But
it is,
still.
But I understand that that's not how I view it.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people who use those things. That is how they view it. And that's subconscious stuff. Like, people are not taking in, like, the words mean things.
100%.
Why are you calling them a light skin? I'm not texting you back. What does that mean?
Why are you moving like a light skin?
What do you mean I'm moving light skin?
Like, yo, what the hell are you talking about? That
like,
doesn't.
I'm busy. I have
100%. We have commitments. We're adults.
I'm employed.
What are you doing?
Like, go make some money.
I'm saying,
are you texting my
you're a flight attendant, right?
Exactly.
So you travel, you see a lot of things. You're busy. You're doing things.
Sam, I'll be working 4 flights a day. Oh, why are you moving light skin for not texting me back?
Please.
Do you know what that means?
Please, man. Come on.
I'm like, are you not employed? Like, do people not have jobs anymore?
Yeah. That entitlement too is also another thing I want to talk about with people, just since like not respecting time, making it think like you are always on their time and the world revolves around them. That's something that is crazy and prevalent. I see in today's generation all the time. You take a couple hours to respond to someone, they're like, yo, what are you doing? Da, da, da. Or they'll might move petty back towards you just because, you know, they feel entitled to your time. I mean, you probably have countless stories or countless occurrences with that.
A lot of men feel really entitled to
time, no?
In my text, like, I posted a picture yesterday and I looked really cute and I got like a lot of messages, but I was out with my friends hanging out, like I was applying. There is literally a man talking to himself in my messages.
Not respond.
He's talking to himself. Hey, beautiful. Oh, you can't respond. Oh, by the way, da 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 da. Oh, what do you know who I am? You're missing out. You're missing out. Da, da, da. All this friggin' entitlement, and like it comes. It's so violent. It is so violent.
Yeah.
Like, these men get so. I've seen one in real life before. Like, this man was living in my DMs. I was replying. He comes up to me in public. So you can't reply to me? I'm like, who are you?
Jeez.
So you can't respond to your DMs? You think you're better than me? You're not even that cute anyway. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, the you're not even that sweet or cute. That's a classic right there. I'll be honest with you.
Sending like 20 messages.
That's crazy. And the thing is, it goes both ways too. Women are often entitled to men's time as well, and there's a lot of people that can attest to that. But I think that's something that, as we get older, we have to respect time. We have to realize that, we're not always gonna be there for people at the flick of a button or whatever. You know what I mean?
I feel
it's
like
crazy.
It's like an ownership, especially if you're like in not a relationship, but like just getting to know someone. Yeah. It's because as a society, we don't see people as, like, when we're like interested in someone, we don't see them as people. We start to see them as our property. So in that way,
it's a bar.
You feel like you own them, so they need to respond to me. They need to be there. They need to do this. Da, 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 da. Like, we have this really toxic culture of thinking this person is owed to me.
It's almost a sense of insecurity too, as well.
Yeah.
They feel like if they're not constantly being engaged or justified, they're like, oh shit, they must be doing something else, or like they must be, I don't know.
But communication is key.
100% with everything.
With everyone.
With everything.
So it depends on, like, if you guys are like talking and you're like, oh, by the way, like me as a flight attendant.
Yeah.
If I'm talking to someone, getting to know someone, I'm be like, yo, by the way, BT dubs, I have this much flights today. I even give them my flight numbers. You want to track it? Some people like to
you do those ones?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I've had people track my flights.
Wow.
And seeing, I hope you had a good flight and blah, blah, blah. And that's awesome. You understand? I'm like, hey, I'm going to be really tired when I get to my layover. I don't think I'll be talking that much. I'm going to message you before I go to bed. Cool. Which is cool. But if you do all of that and that person is still like...
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't you respond to me here? Why didn't you do this? Oh, I saw you on Twitter. That's
the insecurity.
That is insecurity.
100% at its finest.
Fuck with that. I don't 100%. Do that.
We can. It's 2020. What are you doing? We're adults.
Yeah, we are adults, but people still feel like
that we move like that.
Don't own me, sweetie. We're not.
Yeah, 100%. So recently, you're just talking about Twitter. There's something that came up with this whole Will and Jada situation. I'm sure you've seen a lot about this. I'm sure people that are listening to it have seen a lot about this. Entanglement, 100%. Me personally, I think the only thing we should be getting entangled with are these petitions.
Period.
100%. Period with a T. Let's be real. But there's this new word that's been coming around, entangled, started by Jada. Just basically...
Started by Jada.
I mean, let me hear your opinion on this. I don't even know.
Okay, at first... I was like, because I don't know if it was true or not, but I'm like, I didn't research because I didn't really care enough. But apparently Will and Jada were in an open relationship. And they were like all cute and whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. Open relationship. If that's your thing, do your thing. I love that for them. I'm very free-spirited and I don't really do your thing. So people were like bashing Will and Jada, like, oh, you're going to make another man like sleep with your wife and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. But then when Jada came out and did it yesterday, I'm watching it, and I literally tweeted it. I was like, this is a whole lot of nothing. I
just told my guy that, you know, the way she manipulates words and makes it so like, wow, like it's hard to like even fathom in a sense, you know what I'm saying? Like the way we had to go through the fire and build and rebuild our structures internally. So I'm like, yo, what are you talking about, bro? Like, yeah, it's like it's icing on the cake type shit.
The rundown was literally what happened. Her and Will split. She saw August. She preyed on August because he was young. He was like 20, you know, 21.
He's 5 years older than her son, you know.
He was a child. In my, like, with her age group, that is a child.
That's crazy.
Like, around my mom's age.
Yeah.
That was a child.
That's crazy.
Preyed on. Preyed on the child and took advantage of him because his mental health was suffering. He has, like, this condition. She's like, I want to help him with his health. And blah, blah, blah. And she saw a nice, cute, young boy, took advantage of him. She just wanted a rebound. She just wanted to feel loved.
Yeah.
Like, all of us have that feeling. And she took advantage of the young boy, had a little relationship with him, made him feel like it was more than it was, and then just cut it off. And because if you look at his thing, he's like, oh, like, I shared such an amazing, like, love.
Yeah, like he was hurt. Let's be real. He was 100%.
Like, I shared this love with her and these emotions, and she's just like, well, I had an entanglement.
I'm like, damn, that's
crazy.
Yeah, the way she says, it's funny. It's funny, I know.
And I'm like, we need to like look at it as what it is. Like, don't excuse her for it because she's an older woman and whatever. She preyed on him. 100% she preyed on him.
You can call it that, yeah.
And his vulnerability.
Yeah.
And you can see it on both sides of the spectrum, right? You can see how he received it versus how she's like, kind of like like the fuck boys.
Yeah. Yo, let's keep it a buck. Jada's toxic. Like, that whole relationship is toxic.
It is toxic.
And people got to stop looking at it like, yo, this relationship is something that we should idolize. What J. Cole said, no, I don't know. No, we should not be like, we got to be cautious of like who we're following, celebrities or whatnot, because a lot of them are not perfect. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Cole said that Will and that Jada
love. That Will and that Jada love. I'm like, 5-6 years ago, I'm looking at, I'm listening. I'm like, hey, it's line bops, you know? Fast forward to 2020, it's like, nah, man, come on. A lot of shit, you know, what's done in the dark comes to the light eventually, right? So
but that's why I don't idolize. And I don't think any relationship is perfect for se.
100%.
None of them are.
These celebrity relationships are something that, you know, I always kind of question people when they look at like the Keeping Up the Kardashians, that type of stuff. It's like, damn.
I've watched one episode and like my brain turned too much.
I can't. All the shows, the Love Islands, all that is like it's a little too much for me. I'll be real. It's just they idolize, like, just don't idolize anyone. Have your own relationship goals. Just do yourself. Yeah, be yourself. Do your own.
What makes you happy in a relationship? Who makes you happy? What do you want in a relationship? What are you looking for? Don't idolize these people. Oh, there's.
It's not a one size fits all solution.
And love isn't like I think people need to look at love. Like, we were raised with Disney. We were raised with, oh, this is what love is in relationships. Fight through it all. Da, 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 da. People need to look at love as what it is. It's just a feeling. It's emotion. We all feel love.
Do you think love is a choice? I asked my friend this question. Do you think love is a choice, or is it something that we kind of just fall into?
I don't think you choose who you fall in love with. Like, you
think it's natural?
Yeah.
So when you say, because my friends or the people that I've been around with, they kind of classify love as like an action. To love someone is a choice. Just like how we're doing this podcast, or I'm typing on my computer, I'm doing an action. Exactly. It's kind of tough. It's like it's a fine line, but you know, for me personally, I don't know if love is an action. You know, it's tough for me to say I look at you and to say I'm gonna love that person, you know, dear heartedly. Like, for instance, family. You don't. For me, I never chose to love them. Like, they were just in my life, and it's just what it is. You know?
Yeah, you never chose.
You never chose. I couldn't look at all the families in the world and say I want that one.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Let me get this. Like, it's no, it's
that truck.
Exactly.
I'm choosing to love that truck.
Exactly.
I freaking hate it.
It's
so
tough.
Ugly.
It's
tough.
Thing
I've ever seen.
I'm not even a truck man either. I can't do trucks though. Can't do trucks,
but I don't think it's not a choice.
I don't know.
Like, you don't choose to. I think falling in love with someone's not a choice, but I feel like choosing to love them properly is a choice. You can choose. If you love someone, you would want to make them happy. You want to do everything in your power. That's a choice. And depending if you actually really love that person, that's a choice you're gonna make. I feel like that comes naturally. Like, if you see if my mom was over there with a bunch of bags and the rain is coming down, and I'm like, oh, she'll be fine. She'll do it herself. But I love her. I love her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out and do it it's just like second nature. I'm gonna go help her with her bags, bring it inside, because that's acts of love.
It's just something, just something you do. It's
just something you do for people that you love. You don't think about it. It's not, I don't know who chooses to love.
Facts. And just rewinding back to that Will and Jada thing, is clearly some toxicity. But speaking on that topic, it's crazy. Before this week happened, it was all Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. It's crazy how the focus switched up just like that. And that's something that I find a little, I'd say, interesting, where a lot of these things, I was talking about it with an episode I did before with my friend Jonathan, but a lot of these things were trends to a lot of people, just to fit in or make it cool. But now that there is another distraction happening, I don't see as much Black Lives Matter activism happening. And a common theme or idea that I see from a lot of people is performative activism. To blend in, or like I said, fit in, just to, like I said, perform or to be cool in a sense. I don't even. How do you feel about that? I mean,
I even like, if you want my Instagram right now, I literally keep it, like, I have a whole like aesthetic, and I kept that there, and it says performative activism. Here's what you can do instead of posting a black square, because that black square thing pissed me off for one or two reasons. First, it was a bunch of people who have never like actually said anything about Black lives before. When I would, quote unquote, rant angrily, because I've been about this life, I've been talking about Black issues.
100%.
When I would talk about it, they're the same ones who are like, oh,
move from me.
What are you dealing with? Like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, it's Canada, you're not in America, it's not happening.
It's not as bad,
And these are the same people who would gaslight me, tell me that I'm wrong. I literally had a mob after me at one point. Like, people would get at me for it. And these are the same people who are like speaking up, and they're like the big activists and whatever. And do you know they're still protesting in the States?
That's crazy.
There's still protests.
Yeah.
It's not on the news.
You don't see it as much.
You don't see it.
It's only on the news when riots are happening.
Exactly.
To paint that
when they want to make Black people look bad.
Exactly.
When Black people are not. Anyways, I don't even get into
That's
that.
a different thing, but yeah.
That's a whole other thing. But yeah, it's very it's 100% performative, and you can see it. Like, Black Lives Matter is just another. I said they did it with, like, you know how Pride, during Pride Month, all these companies are like, yay,
rainbows,
gays.
All of that,
Let's support the gays. Woohoo, homosexuality. And then when, was it June? When June's done, they're like, all right.
Back to business, back to regular scheduled programming. It's the same thing with Black Lives Matter,
Exactly.
Facts.
Like, I want to see what Black History Month is going to look like next year. I want to see what it's going to look like. It's going to be like, we love Black history.
Yeah.
Like, even like companies that have worked for or work for, they do that. Like, Black History Month, they did nothing for us. Nothing for Black history. But now they're all like putting a black square on their Instagram. And
but they think that's enough. And that's why when I seen the black squares, I was kind of on the fence. I didn't know how I felt about it, because it was like a get out of jail free card. It was a quick action. Like, oh, look at me, I did my part, I'm done. You know what I mean?
It's money at the end of the day.
It is money at the end of the day. But I just never had a good feeling about those squares. But just with performative activism, you see it everywhere. People trying to do things to fit in, and at the end of the day, it doesn't get us anywhere.
No, it doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything. So
none of them have signed petitions. None of them have called. Like, when Breonna Taylor's case happened, like, I was like running up my long distance phone bill, calling the police station, calling their premiers, calling their people. No one was answering, obviously, because they're having an influx of calls.
100%.
But I was still doing the work.
You're still putting in the groundwork. I
was signing the petitions. I was donating to whatever I can donate. Like I said, I bought like bare bathing suits, but a lot of my money.
Exactly. Then that's more. It's more than just black squares.
Exactly.
It's more than just a retweet. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's why I think this performative activism thing is so toxic to this whole movement altogether.
It makes it look like a gimmick.
Yeah.
It's a gimmick.
Yeah. It's a trend. It's a trend. Yeah, cool.
Put on my phone case. I'm gonna get tattooed.
I'm glad you brought up that whole shirt thing too. There's a lot of companies that are coming out with their own version of Black Lives Matter shirts, but having their brand on it. I think there is good that can come out of that. I mean, it does spread awareness and whatnot, but there's also the other side of people doing it for self-profit or self-gain. That, in a sense, can be another aspect of performative activism, where it's like, you know, where's the money going to? Who is this benefiting? You know, there's so many variables to it. There is good, there is bad, but I don't know. How did you seen that before? I don't know. Have you?
I actually saw one and I was livid.
You're okay.
It was, I don't remember what it was.
It was a Black Lives Matter T-shirt.
I said it was like something about like Breonna. You know how like they made Breonna Taylor's death a meme?
Yeah.
Like I really hate that. I hate those.
I didn't even see that before.
It's a good day to arrest the police. Who
oh yeah.
I was like, her life isn't a meme. It's not like a quirky thing to put on your Instagram. It's not funny. This is a black woman was sleeping in her bed, got shot by the police, and only one of them got fired. Putting a quirky meme does not call for justice. The police don't have to do anything now.
That's the thing too. A lot of people do shit for retweets.
It's
so let's
for
be
the
real.
tweets and for the retweets and to look cool. Like, I support Breonna Taylor.
Yeah.
Look at me. And so like doubling back. So this guy had the shirt said, "Arrest the cops that murdered Breonna Taylor" on a T-shirt. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Is the money going to the family? Is the money going to like her legal fund?
Please, that's going right back to the business.
So we peeped that, and like everyone got cheese. Like every man just like, yo, what are you doing? So they had to take it down. Because I'm like, how are you profiting off of this woman's death? A black woman's death. You as a black person are profiting off this black woman's death.
That's the last thing we need right now.
If you're gonna say all these proceeds are gonna go to her lawyer fund or something like that, her jail fund, whatever, like something.
Yeah.
No, it was all for profit.
Yeah.
So
none of it was going back.
Why are you profiting off of black? Like, capitalism will be the death of us. It will be the death of us.
That's, see, there's good and bad with it, man. There's good and bad with it, but I think I agree. This is, I don't want to turn this into a political thing, but like it's facts. Capitalism.
I see that with my Louis bag in my
I see it. See a Louis. You better hide that shit, man. Lucky we don't got that on video. But yeah, no. I feel you, because that capitalism essentially is driving all these people for self gain, for self profit. People are doing things and forgetting why we're doing these. Breonna Taylor's petitions and all these, the groundwork that we're putting in. People are kind of putting that to the side and say, okay, what can I get out of this?
Some money out of
what
this.
can I get? Exactly. What can I get out of this?
Let's start a business, yo. We have the same 24 hours. Let's invest. You're investing in a T-shirt that says "Arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor" and not doing anything. That's not. Not doing anything. There's little positivity. I feel like that can arise from that. Just besides spreading awareness. That's for me on paper. If the money's not going back to the families or any good causes, then that's the only thing I see it going towards, you know. But just first, it's just I hate how it's become, because I remember, I think the turning point for me when I first like woke up, I guess, and just realized what kind of world we're living in. Trayvon Martin and Mike Brown. Like the first time I marched in a protest was Mike Brown's Black Lives Matter rally we had here in Toronto in 2015.
That's
that was
awesome.
The first time I ever protested. That was my very first protest. Everyone was like, why are you doing that? This is Canada.
Yeah.
Why are you da-da-da-da-da? And then twos after George Floyd happened, what's it called? Regis happened.
Yeah.
Even though we found out it was actually the cops who pushed her.
Yep, over the building.
She's suffering from mental illness.
Yeah.
And she jumped, or she was having like a schizophrenic episode. But it's the fact that you're supposed to be a police officer protecting the people. Why did you protect her? And then they shot that the Muslim man in Malton.
Yeah,
who was having
a schizophrenic episode. Yeah,
and killed him.
Yeah,
and then Devontae, I don't remember his last name, so I don't say, but I know his name's Devontae. He was in Brampton, having a schizophrenic episode as well, and they killed him. And even like me personally, like I've had a situation where my mom's best friend passed away last year. Her son was mentally ill. It was all over the news. Her son was mentally ill, and he was having an episode, and he can become violent. And my mom was like, please call the police. She's like, no, they might kill my son.
Yep.
And unfortunately, he like had his episode. He set the entire house on fire, and she unfortunately perished in it.
Sorry to hear that.
And that just like, when that happened, I was like, why didn't you just call the police? Like, what's wrong? Like, why wouldn't, like, she would have had her life now. She just called the police. But then I'm thinking, she couldn't live with herself if she knew the police came and killed her black son, because they don't see it as they don't see it as an episode. They see it as a violent black man or a violent brown man, and they kill him. Mm-hmm. Because that's what they do. That's what they do. And that's why we call for defunding the police. Put more money into resources that will actually help.
That will actually prevent those issues. Yeah, 100%. I think with police being first responders, I don't think that should be the case for every response.
There's a lot to do. Beautiful gowns.
There's culture out there too. You got some diversity.
No.
No diversity?
It's mostly white, Asian. Yeah, that's it.
I've been there before. I've seen some, but yeah, no, I feel you. Edmonton, me living there, I was living there for the past 4 or 5 years. There's culture there.
Yeah, there's more culture in Edmonton than there is in Vancouver.
I can say that. Yeah,
it's crazy.
I can say that.
I wanted oxtail one day and I couldn't get oxtail.
In Vancouver?
Yes.
That's crazy.
I had to fly back home to get oxtail.
That's madness.
I hated it.
That's the thing with Edmonton. There's a lot of there's some black businesses that I want to shout out, but even here, one of our sponsors actually is Ireland Sauce Inc. They're from Toronto. If you ever need, your barbecue sauce needs, I know we get tired of the Diana sauce. Let's be real.
I don't use Diana sauce.
You don't use Diana sauce? What do you use?
I don't know.
You don't use sauce?
I don't really.
Pick up some Island sauce. What are you doing,
but I'll
man?
use
Come
it.
on. What are you doing?
I need barbecue sauce, but I don't really.
You don't use I know you don't eat meat. I get that.
Yeah, but
you
use
can
it when
still
I
use it.
My vegetables.
Oh, okay. Well, Island sauce is the perfect substitute. Okay. I'll be real with that.
I'm gonna get that.
I'll send you the link.
Is it hot?
I'll include it.
Stuff,
it can be.
Okay.
It can be. But yeah, no. Shout out to these guys. They're new in the game, but they're doing some big things. Just a substitute that I've been using and I love it. So
we love black businesses.
I love black businesses. Yeah. Now's the time more than ever to support them, especially.
We have to. Yeah. Because if not, who else is?
Exactly. 100%.
We have so much buying power. Like, what's it, like 1 trillion?
It's crazy. I was literally talking about it on my last episode, but it's crazy. We have to make the conscious decisions to keep circulating our dollar in the community.
We have to, because
that's huge.
There's so many black girlies doing it, so many black men doing it. Like, we need to support more of our black business. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, I think I was talking with my best friend, and we're like, how we find convenience. Like, we prefer convenience over supporting black business. Mm-hmm. Like, me in Brampton, there's like probably the only black businesses are like Jamaican restaurants. Yeah, I don't eat meat, so I usually go to like Whole Foods and stuff. But now, like, I've actually like been looking up like black Caribbean vegan places. Mm-hmm. So there's in Scarborough, there's one Vital. Great food.
I heard of them. Yeah,
so good.
I heard of them.
There's also one in Ajax. I don't remember the name, but it's like Caribbean. It's like Caribbean. They have like vegan oxtail, which I'm gonna go try. I should go try that.
Yo, hold on. Side note: before you keep listening to these businesses, you're vegan. We get that. The audience knows that. How did you get into that? Like, what? At what point were you like, nah, I'm done with meat? Because like that's a big jump.
I know.
That's a huge jump.
Okay,
it's crazy.
High school, I was vegetarian for all of high school.
Yeah.
Didn't eat any meat at all. I still had dairy products and eggs and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. 2016, I had gallbladder issues, and the only diet that would work was when I was vegan.
Okay.
I wouldn't have any attacks. I felt fine. Then I ate meat, got attacked. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And so now, like during quarantine, I just haven't been feeling good. Like, I'm getting older. My body sucks. Like, it doesn't metabolize the same. I feel sick after eating like certain foods. And I'm like, yo, let me just try doing vegan again. So I would have like one vegan meal a day. Or I'll have like breakfast will be vegan, the rest will be like meat. And then slowly. And then I finally made the change to be completely vegan like 2 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, about a month now. I've been like all plant-based.
Straight plant-based.
No cheese, no
dairy. A lot of seaweed.
No.
Not joking.
I love seaweed. Oh,
yeah, that's another story, man. I don't know, man. That's Alan, you eat seaweed, bro? You don't do seaweed, right? Nah, that's different, man. I don't know.
Some haters.
I don't know about that, man. That's tough.
Seaweed tastes good. I feel like people are just turned off of it because of how it looks.
I think that's okay. I'll be honest. If it was like a different like texture or not, like, imagine like a chip but like seaweed.
It is.
But no. Like, you know how chips are like shaped and shit. Like imagine like a Lay's potato chip, but seaweed, like that texture, but taste.
It's like a square.
But it's like paper. Like, it's weird, man. I'm not trying to eat paper.
It's not paper. It has a ton of flavor. You can get wasabi. You can get sea salt. You can get.
Let me just order sushi. I'll just order sushi.
So you don't eat like seaweed salad?
No.
What?
No.
Seaweed's really good
No,
for you.
Shan. I don't eat seaweed salad.
You know what? See why? See, like, I can't take people anywhere. I want to eat seaweed.
Yeah, no, you gotta. I think it's gotta be one of those ones where you keep in your bag and kind of eat you nibble on it every now and then.
No, that was like my go-to snack when I was traveling.
But you're proud about it. Like, you'll take it out at the party and be like, that's why. Like, I rate it. No, I rate it though. Like, you have no shame about it. You take it out and just be, you want some?
I offer to everyone, and
that's crazy.
Everyone's like, nah.
People have been like, yo, I'll take some, no?
And then they're like, ooh, like, what is this? The thing is, they like it, but they don't want to admit it. I feel like you like it, but you just don't want to admit it.
Please stop this.
You said it wasn't that bad.
Please.
I think you like it.
Are you gonna expose me on this, yo?
This man, he likes seaweed. He just doesn't want to let everyone know.
Seaweed's
he's a closeted seaweed eater.
It's I'm on the fence about it. I'll be real. I'm on the fence. You know, it is what it is. But that's a topic for another discussion. Yeah.
It's a seaweed.
It is what it is. I don't know what it is with you and seaweed, but yo, me, Aled, we're on the same page. It's just not. It's not for us. Sorry.
Haters.
I'm sorry, but yeah. On that note, Shan, it was great to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. We will definitely bring you on at some point. I've enjoyed this discussion a lot. So
a lot of gang shit.
A whole lot of gang shit. Do you have any last words to say to the audience?
Black lives matter. Black trans women matter. And support your local black business and support your local black women and protect us. Thank you. Love the grass. Follow me on what I do. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. I'm at Shanzo, SHANSDOE. I could spell. And yeah, I will reply to you if you say nice things to me. But also don't feel entitled.
Spread positivity.
Like 20 messages in a
guys, let's spread positivity. Come on.
I have to report you. But
that's crazy.
Just positivity.
You're going to report Twitter or Instagram?
Instagram and Twitter.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Oh, my days.
All right. Well, on that note, appreciate you. We're out.
Hey, bye.